Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Mary Payton with All About STEM Radio. I come to you every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. here on the Blue Stream. And I would say it was a lovely day, but it was a lovely day when we were driving in, and then all of a sudden, the clouds, the sky just busted open. So, I got a whole lot of rain coming in, but people were driving safe and everything is good and okay and beautiful and wonderful. But, it's starting to get to the end of the summer. I know you're starting to look to send those babies back to school in a few weeks. Don't forget, here at Fishbowl Radio Network, we are collecting backpacks with school supplies in them, notebooks, paper, pens, pencils, so that we can help some of our kids out. And also, um, Noggin, their radio, it's another radio show here. David and I forget the wife's name. They are also collecting backpacks. So, but don't forget, if you can't afford to donate a backpack, pick up an extra box of crayons or extra box of pencils and donate to your child's school because, teachers really, really, really need that help because later on in the year, you start out the year with all these great school supplies and then they start to dwindle out. But before we get started today, because I have a wonderful guest calling in from San Antonio, Texas, and I love her name. Y'all are going to love it too. But I want to talk about Mr. Larry Curry. He is the founder of Metro Sports Fieldhouse, which is a organization that not only looks at sports for our young men and women, but also looks at education, especially the STEM side of education, to make those young men and young women understand that you can do both. It's not a problem. Well, he is having a health and wellness fair, which is free. It's a free fitness activity, health screening, health tips for the entire family on next Saturday, the 20th of July at UTA's Maverick Activity Center from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can register at www.metrosportsfieldhouse.com/health, or if you go to the website, you can see the link. And, I will be there with my books, Taylor STEM Adventures, so you'll get to meet me while you're there. And think about it. Health screening, a good time for the entire family. Come out to UTA's Maverick Activity Center on July 20th from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Well, so let's get to my outstanding and wonderful guest for today. Her name is Miss Honey Bueno. She is the founder of Tracking Transitions LLC in San Antonio, Texas. And y'all know I love me some San Antonio. Good food, good place to be, great Riverwalk area, parks, all kinds of great things. But she is a military spouse. Is your husband retired, honey?
Hi, Dr. Payton. Yes,
Hi.
he's been retired now for about 5 years.
Like kind of like me. So, so she was one of those wonderful military spouses that we could not have done without because the military cannot do without its family. So, but now she is beating her own path, and I am excited about it. So, honey, would you please tell us a little bit of who you are and a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Sure. Okay, so I grew up in San Antonio, and I actually now live in Bernie, Texas,
Okay.
which is just about 20 minutes outside of San Antonio. But I do spend a lot of time still in San Antonio. I've moved around quite a bit, as you mentioned, as a military spouse. My background is diverse, so I I graduated with a bachelor's degree in business administration with concentration in accounting, and I've owned my own business at least 3 different times throughout, over the past over 20 years.
Yes.
And I've worked in various roles, and like as an accounts payable assistant. I've even done a certified fitness instructor position. I worked as recreation program specialist and supervisor. I've been a lab tech for a research center, and then accounting specialist for insurance agencies. So
yeah, well, I think that's all of us. As we mature, grow older, go through our career lives, we change, and try new things and have a fun life. So, where did you graduate college from?
I went to the University of Mary Hardin Baylor in Belton, Texas.
Oh, you are a diehard Texas girl, just like me. I love it. So, now how long? Your husband did how many years in the military?
Just a little over 21 years.
21, and being a military spouse, and one with the degree, trying to figure out your own life with being a spouse. How was that?
It was, having a degree, I think, is very important, and that's helped me a lot along the way, because a lot of places, you need a bachelor's degree for a job.
Yeah.
So that's really helped me a lot, having that degree. But moving around so often, I'd move every 10 months to 3 years. So the challenge would be with getting into that interview, which that's a challenge in and of itself. But getting the interview and then being asked the question of looking at the resume and seeing oh, it looks like your spouse is in the military. How long are you going to be here? Those kinds of questions would come about, and oftentimes I wouldn't get a call back. So, but some places did take me up on the job, and so I was very thankful for them. So.
Yep. I had that same thing happen to me being a reservist. Well, you're a reservist. What if you get called on active duty? Oh, we know that you've got to leave 2 to 3 weeks during the summertime to go to your annual training. What are you going to do about that? That's why going into education was such a good deal for me, because we were out of school in the summer. So, I totally understand that attitude with some people, because they want you there. They're not being negative. They just want you to be at work. But, what is one of the best places that you ever got stationed at with your husband?
Okay, so stateside, I would say he was stationed at the Pentagon, so we lived in Fort Belvoir, Virginia. So I'd say stateside, that would have to be my most favorite. But outside, Heidelberg, Germany was amazing, and Baumholder was also amazing. To me, a lot of people would say, "Oh, you're moving to Baumholder, you're not going to like it there," but I loved it there. It was amazing.
Yeah, Baumholder was nice. It was nice because I was in Gießen, and then I was in Wiesbaden. But we used to go to Baumholder a lot for different things. So
I liked how it was so close to neighboring countries, and you can just take the kids. And my husband was deployed during that time, so he didn't get to come with us too often, obviously. But we would just I would take the kids, and we would just go and travel. It was fun.
That was one of the best things about being in the military, was being able to travel or getting stationed somewhere where you could go into other countries while you're there, and it wouldn't cost you an arm and a leg. So
right.
Agreed. So you said you have children. How did they fare being military kids? Because I know what happened with mine. They loved it far too much.
Oh, okay. So when my kids were younger, it was easier. as they got older, the transition got more, challenging
Yeah.
as they did get into that high school age, even the middle school age. So for my kids, it wasn't as easy as they got older.
Hmm.
But
I think.
yeah.
Yeah, I think with mine as they got older, because we went to San Antonio, we went to Hawaii, we didn't go to like South Korea or somewhere. They, I think they adjusted a lot better to to those areas, because we transitioned to Hawaii when my son was a junior in high school, and I thought that was going to be detrimental, but he loved it. He loved it. So, everything, it just, whenever it happens, it happens. But
Yeah.
now that you are, retired, well, he's retired, you have taken on your own career. Well, you had a career before that, but uh, tell me a little bit about tracking transition. What inspired you to do that?
So it's tracking transactions.
Transactions.
And yeah, so what inspired me, or my why?
Mm-hmm.
So it all comes down from being an Army spouse, right?
Uh-huh.
So as so I was a lot of this I've already said, but I was a proud Army wife for almost 21 years. So during that 21 years, we moved several times. The shortest time span spent in a couple of places was 10 months, and
Yep.
the longest averaged 3 years. One of the hardest parts, as I've already mentioned, was finding a job.
Yep.
So I did start out owning my own business, and it was fun, but with the constant moving, I wasn't able to keep up with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did try applying for jobs, as I've already mentioned, and the challenges with the interviews and so forth were very discouraging, and it was depressing. So as we continued to move, like I mentioned, I always found some type of job, but I always wondered what it would be like to actually work somewhere and be able to have a consistent job
Yep.
and retirement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I started my business tracking transactions so that I could support military spouses, to give them an opportunity to work from home and not be afraid of what they will do at the next duty station when they have to move again.
Mm-hmm.
And also for veterans that may be retired and or wounded and they need the comfort of their home to still be able to contribute to their family. So that's my why, my deep why. That's my goal, is to be able at some point to hire spouses or veterans or even dependents to join my team and help me help these insurance agencies, so those insurance agents can protect their clients. They need our help, and we need them.
So what is the mission? What does tracking transactions actually do? Because I met you when we were going through business training together, and you always had like the best questions, but we never really, you had great questions. For some reason, some of us were always talking about exactly what we did, but you never told us. I mean, you probably did tell us, but I may not have been listening. Exactly what tracking transaction does. What's its mission?
So what I do is I have a virtual bookkeeping business that specializes in insurance agencies.
Oh, okay.
Working in the applied Epic agency management system.
Mm-hmm.
And so I exist to earn their trust, securely track their transactions, and guide them to positive growth. So
Okay.
that's what I do.
Now, what got you wanting to get into this, or what steps did you take to get into this, and give it a little bit of how this works?
Okay. So I got into this. So while I was working in the insurance industry, I could see the passion insurance agents have for protecting their clients.
Yep.
So if you have a great insurance agency, or insurance agent, they're going to make sure that they get to know you and your situation, and they're going to make sure that you have the proper insurance coverage.
Mhm.
So if your home or your car is damaged or your business gets hacked,
Oh.
You'll be working with your insurance agent to help you get through these struggles.
Mhm.
And so, while I worked in that industry, I can see their passion for helping their clients. And I could see also how how these remote opportunities were increasing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it seemed a natural fit for me to go out on my own and see if I could make this work.
Mhm.
And, thankfully I have a supportive family to help me, and I have an angel looking out for me, which is wonderful. So, to get started, yeah, it wasn't as hard as I expected it to be.
Uh-huh.
You just get your computers set up, and connected to the internet, and just making sure I log in through VPN to access my client,
Okay.
to be on my client's server.
Yeah, that makes it more
And
secure too.
yeah, that does help a lot. I'm able actually to communicate with them too. They use what's called Cisco
Mhm.
Jabber. And so let's say they need some help with a billing issue. We just get on the phone and we share screens. I can walk them through an issue, help them resolve it. I can show them how to do something, and then I can also watch their screen, watch what they're doing, and then I can help them, move along a lot quicker. It's a lot quicker when you can see what's happening, and actually talk on the phone. I mean, yes, we do emails and so forth, but sometimes it's just a lot quicker and easier just to get on the phone and knock it out.
Mm.
So.
Okay. Now, did you have to have any special training or any special education or certifications to do what you're doing right now?
No, because so I do have a bookkeeping certification.
Okay.
The professional bookkeeper, but there really is no specific bookkeeper certification. There's different kinds that you can go through, but it's not like a CPA, right? A CPA,
Right.
that's a certified public accountant. I am not that, so I can't use the word accounting in any of my business related documents and so forth like that. But no, I don't need a special designation per se.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, you had said earlier that you're looking for people to come on and you can train and they can become part of your team. Do you
Yes.
have anyone in those positions at this time?
Actually, I'm working, with my son.
Oh,
He's
okay.
helping me. I made him a member of my company, actually. So he's now a member, and he helps me. He just recently just started kind of
Uh-huh.
helping me out, and I'm just showing him, and it's helping me
Yep.
so that when I am ready to start hiring employees,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm learning how to work. Not that I didn't already know how to work with one, but this is a lot of learning for me, so that I can document all of my processes
Yep.
and things like that, so that when someone comes on board, they're just going to hopefully be able to follow a process. I can walk through the process with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, maybe sharing screens with them and get them going, and then they should be able to pick up from following the notes and things like that.
Yeah. And having those processes developed and out there, that is so important. A lot of people think you can go into business and you're just in business and you start bringing in money and then you hire people and they don't really look at what it is you have to do. And I guess with me being in the military and you coming from a military family, it's kind of like having those standard operating procedures. What is your procedure to do this? What is your procedure to do that? Do you agree with that?
Yes, I highly agree with that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, those things are important. But, um, you told me you support insurance agents. Is it agents or companies or both?
It's insurance agencies mainly. I'm sure it could be an insurance agent. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Just as long I can support anyone who's working in the applied Epic agency management system.
Oh, okay.
So that's my primary niche for the bookkeeping services that I provide.
Okay. How do you like working with your clients?
I love working with my clients. You should, you know what? There's one of them that tells me you should, you know what? I started copying all of her, the verbiage she would say in responses to some of my emails to her, because she is just so funny. She always has something funny to say back. So I thought, oh my gosh, one of these days I might put a book together. So, but she's always making me laugh on some of her responses. It's hilarious how she always has a story to tell, and it's hilarious. I love it. But yeah, I love talking with them. And sometimes, I'm supposed to be working, right, getting my work done. But when you're working at home, sometimes it's nice to get that social interaction. And so with that phone call, it helps break things up. And so I do like talking with them on the phone. Helping them out.
That sounds wonderful because I'm going to tell you, it's that personal communication that is so important these days, because a lot of times you you call an organization and you may get it may take you 3 or 4 putting in information like your account number, your ID number, your date of birth, your zip code, your home address. Then they asked you 15 times, what do you want? Who do you want to talk to? What's your problem? And you still have to wait another 20 minutes to talk to somebody on the phone. So it sounds like you give your clients that additional personal touch that they may need if they have a question.
Oh my gosh, and yes, and you know what else I like to do too is when I'm watching them, it's really cool because when I'm watching them I'll say, okay, go to the client's transaction.
Uh-huh.
So just saying that and watching how they're getting to the client's transaction, I can almost always say, all right, let me give you a shorter way to get to the client's transaction. There's a much shorter way. So that's another part that I like to do is just, well, I call it like an added value is if I see something, I'm going to say something. And oftentimes, too, they'll invite me to they'll have their own company meetings.
Uh-huh.
Just like, for instance, they're going through a conversion right now.
Oh, okay.
So that's one instance. Or they have different meetings in regards to the commercial lines side of the insurance business or the personal lines side of the insurance business. And so they invite me to attend the meetings. They don't require me. Of course, I'm not required since I'm a contractor with them. But I do like to attend the meetings because I get to hear what's happening in the industry. I get to experience what are their problems and that they need help solving. So for me, it's a benefit. I don't see it as, oh no, another meeting. I see it as, oh my gosh, like they'll be talking and then I'll say, oh, I think how about you try it this way, or why don't you try this? And to me, that's what I get out of it is I get to help them, and that's really what I like to do.
And that sounds so helpful because one, you get an opportunity to learn their needs, and if you can't help them right away, you can make notes and say, let me think about what they were discussing, and
exactly.
you can see what some of their issues may be, or you may be able to see some of the things that they've been praising you on, because I'm quite sure you are extremely helpful to your clients. So, but being in your own business, having your own business. I know you're excited about it. Wait a minute. How long was it? I mean, excuse me. My mouth is messing up right now because it's raining outside. When did you start tracking transactions?
So
Wh-
I started July 1, 2016. So this is
Oh,
3 years for me. And yeah, it's exciting. It's very exciting. I actually just this past weekend, I added a whole entire workstation in my little office here. So now I have two workstations. And I'm thankful for my husband who helped me get it all set up.
mm-hmm.
Um, I'm actually going to meet with an IT person on Friday
Okay.
to make sure that I have everything secure and ready. Um, because that is really one of my concerns for anyone for being on the internet these days. It can be scary.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so I need to make sure that the data is secure for my client, and
Mm-hmm.
I want it encrypted at rest and in transit. So, I'm going to meet with this IT person on Friday to make sure everything is good, and I'm ready to move forward. I have actually this year I have grown about 86%. So I'm extremely excited
Really?
about that. Yes.
Oh, well,
So,
I am so proud of you of that because, we've met and I mean, the things that I've learned from the course that we took, I'm still doing a lot of those things and I'm still learning and I'm still writing things down because you remember uh, when we took that course, I'm like, I just figured out I'm a business. I fell into
mm-hmm.
having a business accidentally, so now I actually have to be a boss. I actually have to have a business. So I learned so much from y'all, though, just the questions that y'all asked and the conversations that we had. But being a
Right.
business owner, what were some of the challenges for you to get started?
Oh, you. So this is funny. Not funny, but interesting. It's just interesting. Okay. So remember I
Okay.
told you I'm not a CPA, right?
I know you're not.
Well, well, when I started my business name, my business name has changed. I just recently changed it to Tracking Transaction.
Hmm.
But prior to that, it was uh, very long, and this is why I changed it to Tracking Transactions. But anyway, it utilized the word accounting in the business name.
Okay.
So about 4 months into being, operating in business, I received a letter from the Texas State Board of Accountancy, and it
What?
stated, since you're not a CPA, you cannot use the word accounting in your business name, and you need to change it, like now. I had so many days to get it changed. Um, so luckily, I went ahead and I got an attorney just to help me out with that, just to make sure it was all clear.
Hmm.
And and actually a challenge in all of this too. So at the start of my business, another challenge I faced as being a business owner, life happens, right?
Yeah.
So about 20, with less than a month of me starting my business, my husband got really sick to the point where he
Oh.
needed a caretaker for him.
Hmm.
Um, and so that was pretty intense to start your own business and then need to care for your loved ones. But I made it work. I did tell my client what my life situation, so they were aware, and they were very supportive of me, and which I truly appreciated. And they had offered, if I needed any kind of help, that they were there for me, and that's the kind of client you want, right?
Yeah, it is.
Someone like that. And so now, like, I feel so much gratefulness towards them, because had they not, said that to me, that just meant so much. So, so they empowered me, and it was great because I was able to keep up with the job and
Hmm.
caring for my husband and get through all of that. But so yes, when you talk about challenges, owning your own business, life happens. So what are you going to do about it? You could, crawl and get out of business, or you can still try and push on. And so that's what I did. I pushed on, and here I am, and I'm happy that I did it. and I'm still doing it. And like I said, with my goals, my vision here to help spouses, it really keeps me going to keep pushing. So those are just some of the challenges of starting your own business.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, what are the advantages of having your own business?
so advantages for me would be it kind of works hand in hand with that, just having that flexibility because I'm not on the clock 8 to 5. I don't clock
Yep.
in or anything like that. I can go do. I can go meet with a friend. I can go help a family member out if
Mm-hmm.
they're moving, or like my sister, she recently had a baby. I can go. I can still have my life,
Okay.
so that that is a huge advantage to me. And then I also do a lot of networking and attending classes, like the class we were in.
Yes.
Being able to just take time and focus on my business
Mm-hmm.
and get to meet with other very influential women like yourself. And it's just, those are huge advantages to me.
Now, you spoke of the training that we did together. I so enjoyed that training. Although it was long, but it wasn't too long and it wasn't too short. There are some other things I would have loved to have gotten out of it. But what did you think about that training? Can you give me some of your feedback on that?
I like you said, like listening to other people's stories.
Mm-hmm.
It's helpful as an entrepreneur to listen and see what are other people doing, how are they making things work. I like, a challenge, and we're going back to challenges, but during this
Okay.
class, do you remember the social media
Oh
class?
yes, I remember that. And
That is a huge crutch for me that I really need to work on. So, being able, but just the things that she showed us,
mm-hmm.
I didn't know you can schedule a Facebook post. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that was interesting to me. So it's just because I haven't taken the time to learn that,
Mm-hmm.
and so as a business owner, right? As you know, you almost gotta, like I find myself spending a lot of time either listening to podcasts or listening to books on Audible, just trying to learn
Yeah.
and also share. So if I learn something, I like to share it if it can be helpful to others.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be probably the class that was my favorite. I think was the social media. I also thought it was interesting in regards to the business loan, where I always thought, like, if you get, like, I always thought no debt, like
Yeah.
no debt, no debt, no debt, right? And do you
Mm-hmm.
remember when she presented us with that slide, how she put the example of, yes, you get this business loan, but then you can hire, another person. That means you can go get more work
Yes.
and then have more income. And do you remember how that all flowed together? And I was like, oh wow, that's really interesting. I didn't think of it like that. So
Yeah.
I got I got a lot from that class as well. How about you?
Um. Well, just like you, the social media class was. I mean, I love that class, and I've put a lot of that into play. I had to select which social media I wanted to use and which I wanted to learn. So I spend a lot of time sitting down with Facebook and learning how to schedule, not programs, schedule um, my promotionals, for the book or for the show. And I can sit down one day, hit out about 4 or 5 of them, and then to come up at certain times a day on certain days. I learned that. And then I learned from Facebook also how to track my audience, who's viewing, who's actually clicking on it. because all of that is in there on my business page, and I did not know that. So, and then the other one, Instagram. I started really looking at that. Now there are some more things I need to look at with that, because I learned there is a show that comes on, well, a young man that comes on every Sunday at either 8 or 9, I can't remember. I did not know you could do live like podcasts or video chats or video interviews through Instagram. So I've got to figure that I've got to figure that one out. But it is, those are the two that I decided to work with, because those are the two that I felt comfortable with. But I am working on scheduling my social media and stuff like that. But it's one thing that I'm wanting to. I got a subscription to it, but I haven't really used it yet. It is a program to do. Oh my goodness, this rain is coming down. But anyway, it's a program to do newsletters that you can send out to people on your emailing list and stuff like that. That is one that I've really got to learn how to work. So I'm kind of excited about that. Now I'm comfortable with Facebook. I'm comfortable with Instagram, and my son set me up a YouTube channel. So I think I'm growing up. I'm not sure.
That's funny. Yeah.
But you've been in the business as long as I have, but you started out intentionally being in a business. I started out just doing what I love. But what did you think about the training that we had, or where she had us talk about ourselves, talk about our goals, talk about our, like our elevator speech? How comfortable are you with those?
Those are, well, those are okay. I think I can get a lot better. And you know how we had that writer?
Yes.
I'm not sure, I don't remember her name, but how she helped us with all the writing and stuff.
Uh-huh.
I feel like maybe I should just outsource or hire someone to do that, because she was really good at it. And
She was.
Yeah, I would say that's probably one of my challenges too, is just getting the words right. And I feel like I have to have it just right, or I spend too much time on it. That's what I'm trying to say. So it might be better for me to outsource some of these things. But usually I would just say, Tracking Transactions is a virtual bookkeeping business that specializes in insurance agencies working in the applied ethics agency management system. So that's generally what I use and go with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she made us, not made us, but she tried to help us to become comfortable in being a business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I learned to roar because before
Uh-huh.
they say, "Oh, what do you do?" "Oh, I'm just a radio show host," and now,
Yeah, I remember that actually. I remember that. Because she actually did it. She called you, like she mentioned you specifically. Like
oh,
I'm talking about Lisa. I remember when Lisa asked you specifically, like, you are a very successful person, and tell us more about yourself. And I remember that. That was inspiring for sure.
but y'all inspired me because y'all intentionally started these businesses. I was just hosting a radio show and writing books and not even realizing I was a business until I got my first tax bill from the from the Texas State Comptroller that I had to pay for for the books. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm
Oh,
a
speaking of, our bills due, or our report is due here.
yep. I did
I
mine
believe it's on the
yesterday.
20th.
Yep, I did mine yesterday.
Cool. Yeah.
And every time I do it, I have to call down there because I'm afraid I'm going to do something wrong.
Oh,
But
you're funny.
I know.
Well, at least I found that they are helpful, aren't they? When you call and ask for
Yeah.
help, I mean, they seem very helpful, which is very, very promising and very nice,
Yeah,
encouraging.
yes, y'all. If y'all are in business, please. If you're in business, if you're an author, you are in business. A lot of people don't think
Yep.
that. If you write books and sell them, you are in a business. If
Yes.
you sell jewelry, you are in a business. You have to have a tax ID because Texas will come after you. You know,
Yep.
but I mean, they won't come after you really meanly, but they'll let you know that you owe them money. But
Yes.
you know, what do you see the future of your business going from this point?
So for me, I have some goals. I am looking to become a certified fraud examiner. I
Okay.
think that would be a great differentiator for me for my business. When in comparison to some competitors,
Uh huh.
uh, and plus I find it very interesting um, on that with that, you know, just the whole finding things and
Mhm.
helping. It's disappointing if someone's going through that in their business, but if
Mhm.
they are, I want to be able to help them. And especially since I know this system,
Yeah.
if I could, I know I could help someone if they're experiencing
Mhm.
um, someone, embezzling money from them. I'm pretty sure I would be able to find it after I start digging around.
Mhm.
So to me, that's very interesting. So that's one thing I want to do. And I would like to partner with Applied, that system that I work in, and see
Mhm.
if there's a way that I could become a teacher for them in regards
Hmm.
to, so that I could offer classes to spouses or veterans, and I can teach them um, how to use the system.
Mhm.
And then maybe so maybe I could post get with insurance agencies,
Mhm.
talk to them about what my goals are, and then maybe have a job fair at the end of the certification class. And maybe they want to hire some of these spouses, and maybe I can hire some of these spouses after they go through the training. So that's something I'm looking forward to, um, hoping that I could somehow create this partnership with Applied, and maybe they would be interested
Okay.
in in helping spouses and veterans, and I'm willing to help teach. Um, so we'll see what happens with that.
We'll see what happens. Now, I want to make sure we do this before the end of the show. I should have done this 15 minutes ago. If someone needing your services needed to get in contact with you, what is your contact information? Yeah, I know you're working on your website and stuff now, um, but how would
Yes.
someone contact you needing your services?
So they can reach me by email, and so my email is info@trackingtransactions.com.
Okay.
Or they can call me. My number is 830-542-8368. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So if you are needing services that tracking transaction does, please contact Miss Honey Bueno at info at tracking changes. I keep saying changes. Trackingtransactions dot com.
Um,
Yeah,
Thank you.
I wanted to make sure I said that right. But now we've talked about a lot of things, and we have about 8 minutes left. Um, what information do you think will be important to some of our listeners about transitioning or what you do in your business and tracking transactions, or just making those transitions from the military to the civilian sector? What would you like to
Okay, so
share?
yes, I would love to share. Thank you. So I have actually been doing some volunteer work with some of the different agencies out there.
Yep.
There are so many agencies or nonprofits that are out there to help veterans and spouses, and it seems like more and more keep popping up every day. I mean,
Yeah, they do.
it's amazing. So one of the ones that I'm involved with, I'll start with this one. There's several, but this one is called Bunker Lab.
Oh,
And
yes.
you can Google Bunker Lab, and they are a nonprofit, and their focus is on helping veterans and spouses on their entrepreneurial journey. And then as they grow, they have different segments that can help them. But to start off, let's say one of your listeners is thinking about being an entrepreneur. Then they have, if you go onto their website, just Google Bunker Lab. They have what's called Launch Lab Online, and that can help them decide, is that what do I need to open my own business? How does this work? And it's really cool because they do it in little short videos that, they're not going to take up a lot of your time, and you can do them in little segments and, and then complete how they call them missions. So it's really cool, and actually anyone can participate in going on there. You don't have to be a veteran or a spouse. That is their niche market, though, that they do like to reach out to and help. And they are trying to grow throughout all the United States. So in San Antonio, they do have a chapter, and actually on July 24th, if you don't mind me talking about it quick here. They are having an event where there's actually this podcaster. His name is John Lee Dumas. He goes by JLD. He has a podcast called Entrepreneurs on Fire. So if you get a chance to listen to him on his podcast, he's great. He's been doing this for quite a while now. He gets, I believe, over 1 million listens a month. So he's pretty good.
Wow,
and,
you shared that link with me.
I'm sorry?
I say thank you for sharing that information with me.
Yeah, you're welcome. And to your listeners, too, I hope that, if you get a chance, listen to him. But he's amazing. I reached out to him, and he's going to be doing the live stream event on July 24th with us. So he actually lives in Puerto Rico, but he'll be live streaming in. We'll be at the Alamo Draft House. And if you get on to Eventbrite and do a search for Bunker Brews in San Antonio, you can register on there. But it'll be July 24th, 6:45 p.m. We've got some great sponsors. So we have Gun Chevrolet. They're amazing and supporting the military community. And then we have Game Day Media, who's also supporting this cause. And Game Day Media is also offering this great door prize. So if you have to be there to get it, but it's you'll get a coaching. It's a 2-hour coaching and podcasting session, and then they do they'll clean it up for you, so it's nice and neat when you're done. And that's valued at $500. So it's really amazing that they're offering that to the people that attend the event. And so we'll have 130 seats available for that. So that's the main one that I wanted to really highlight for July 24th with Bunker Labs. And another really good one that's starting, the Rosie Network. They're starting a chapter in San Antonio.
Okay.
They help military spouses on their entrepreneurial journey as well. So that's a new group to look up. So the Rosie Network. I know they're based out of California. So, but they're trying to also get to other areas as well. And let's see, what else is out there? The Institute for Veteran and Military Families. So that's IVMF. If you Google them, they have different opportunities, whether you're going into the entrepreneurial path or you're transitioning. And maybe you want to get a certification. For instance, my husband's enrolled in the Project Management Professional certification right now through the Onward to Opportunity. So, and they pay for that. So, look, I would encourage your listeners, if they're looking for some certifications, if you are a veteran or a spouse, Google them or reach out to me and I'll help you. So, what are some other ones?
All these things sound exciting.
Yes, in San Antonio, gosh, the week of July 24th, there's a lot going on. So July 25th, I believe the Centurion Military Alliance, they're hosting a big, I think it's their 7th annual event, and where they help transitioning veterans and spouses as well. And I've been to one of their classes, and it's a nonprofit. One of the girl that does a lot of the classes, her name is Shantae, and she's amazing to listen to. I know they got some great speakers lined up for that. Mm-hmm. So if your listeners want to go to that, Google Centurion Military Alliance. Mm-hmm. LinkedIn Mill City in San Antonio is great also. Mm-hmm. So trying to think of now, hiring our heroes. I have to get that one in too. Okay. Hiring Our Heroes is having an event in San Antonio as well for transitioning, or not. You don't even have to be transitioning. Hiring Our Heroes. Just Google Hiring Our Heroes.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot going on this month. I really like that. Hey, make sure we're getting ready to get off. Make sure if you have time, and if you I don't know if you've sent it already. If you have a flyer for the Bunker Lab event on July 24th, send it to me. If not, I'll find the eBright, and I'm going to post that on the All About STEM Show radio page, so that my listeners can have a link to that. And Honey Bueno, I have had such a great time talking to you. My producer's over here waving at me because we've got to get the commercials to come up. But come on anytime. Let me know if you want to come back, and keep me abreast of what's going on in San Antonio, because driving to San Antonio is like driving home. So, but if you want to touch bases about anything, being a woman in business or being a military spouse owned business, let me know, or ask me if I've learned something new about social media. Please don't hesitate, because I'm definitely going to call you. So,
great, thank you. And yes, please, your listeners, call me for anything. I'm willing to help out with anything. I enjoy helping.
Okay, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been All About STEM Radio. Our guest today was Miss Honey Bueno from Tracking Transactions in outside of San Antonio, Texas. And don't forget, on the 20th, next weekend, Metro Sports Fieldhouse is having the Health and Wellness Fair at UTA at the Maverick Activity Center on the 20th from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Goodbye, Miss Honey Bueno, and goodbye to my audience till next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.